Go.
Fourth tip. Oh, by the way, I want you to notice something. If you do a lot of this, you often keep the brush between two fingers so that you can rotate back and forth as you want, instead of putting everything down, picking everything back up. Running water. One never knows how things are going to turn out. Really. There's no telling. I want to splash. In a minute, you'll see that I'm not doing the water. Oh no, I'm doing the background. This is straight running water. Okay, back in here, there'd be something, it's in front of something like a rock, like a rock. Rocks often are angular, so like a rock. Put some ink on it, so you've got something to work with. Different side of the rock. I mean, I don't care how crummy this is, I just want you to get the idea. Some ink on that. This is water out over here. Put some ink on it. Get enough ink you can have something to play with. You got water. Oh, this is coming out over something. There's absolutely no way it's going to be doing that all by itself. So there's rocks in here too. I'll give them some angles. And there's probably trees back in here or something. Really, something. So there's something there too. Now you got enough to play with. Put the lid on the pan. Right here is the beginning of where it comes from. And I'll use a little color on this just for the heck of it. You could do this in black and white. There's a little bit of burnt sienna. Get down here and you're going to do what is around the water. Okay? And because that's got some brown on it, it's an easy way to do it. Yeah. How about a little bit more? If you hear it, you're listening to a cardinal in the background. Okay. Up and above, a little bit more color up in here. This is going to give me another advantage in a minute. This has got to be dark enough to carry the light water. Whoops, it's not going to come down there unless there's stuff growing down the side of the rock. By the way, in watercolor you can hide virtually any mistake you make. One of the great delights of watercolor. And not terribly beautiful. Now I'm going to come back to my palette and pick up, actually I could pick up something from right here. I want a little bit of dilute color. That's going to make a bloom, by the way. The beginning of doing the water. You're not really doing the water. You're doing what the water is over, around. You're building the background to feature the water. That's going to have to go way up there. I'm being really sloppy with this and not putting a lot of thought into it. So you can see how minimal this can be. I need, from my palette, I've taken some very dirty color. And all I want is to sneak up on the water with almost no color whatsoever, and now to come in with the real color around it. And it should, if I'm lucky, begin to look a tad like water. You know, I don't have to be lucky. But you get the idea? You're painting the background. Sneak up on the water. Bit by bit, add bits of color. There could be a bit there, a bit there. And I want a little bit of that green down in here because it would pick up some of that green, but not a ton. Up here, there's going to be very, very light. If you have blue sky up on the top, this area is likely to reflect blue. That's actually enough color to get away with, right there. I want that to go darker. In fact, if that rock is right there, then this water next to it is probably going to reflect dark. And then you come in here and you can make the different waves on it. It's all about sneaking up on it. You sure don't want a hard edge. That's a solid waterfall. You can come in still darker here and make it look like it's a broken waterfall. Get the idea? Sneak up on it. It doesn't have a ton of color, but you've got to add a ton of color next to it to make it stand out. You're building what's next to it. You're not building the water. That's the fun of it. Why not make that rock have more character? I mean, gee whiz. You get the idea. It's really simpler than you think. Do what's behind it, what's around it, what is cutting into it. I don't know if I can get this pen to do this, but I'll give it a try. The Pilot doesn't like to write on a wet surface. It will stop, but I should be able to get a little bit out of it. Here is a rock that intersects the water. I'll just let that dry for a minute. Notice how natural that looks. And again, it's intersecting the water. You can also have rocks in the water. This can go on and on. Play with this on good paper. Don't try this on a piece of computer paper. It won't work right. One of the really neat things happening here, I am getting got one here. Those are both blooms. They are wonderful characteristics of watercolor. They happen very slowly. They happen when you drop a drop of water into color and let it spread. And then as it contracts, because the pigment's heavier, it dumps the pigment on the outside edges. I love blooms. I love to incorporate them. And this will continue to work for quite a few minutes, even though it appears to be dry. It'll become more pronounced. That's it for the water.